You just met someone for the first time. What had they heard about you before, and what impression did you leave with them? A strong personal brand gives you instant recognition, respect. And I propose that you, regardless of your current job position, can benefit from becoming aware of what your current brand is and using it to become the best version of yourself. My name is Marcio. I have been in multiple industry leadership positions, and today I'm going to share a perspective of building a brand that is authentic and is effective not only in social media but in real life. So sharpen your mind, grab a cup of coffee, and don't go anywhere. A strong and positive brand is important for anyone to lead, influence, or decide as part of a group. It's a key skill for life and for work. Let me share with you my definition of personal branding. So, personal branding is the lifelong, intentional process of cultivating a distinct reputation that highlights valuable personal attributes and is aligned with your self image and real capabilities. That's a mouthful, so let's pick it apart. It is an intentional process, and that means that it's better managed consciously. I know you could ask, well, why can't I just be myself and let people see who I really am? And the answer to that is that you want your brand to work for you even before people meet you for the first time. Your reputation precedes you. Next, the personal brand should cultivate a distinct reputation and valuable attributes. When people talk about you, you don't want to be described just as a nice person, for example. That is unremarkable. You want to be noted, you want to be respected and remembered. As you take a role in a company, you want to be described as something like the most innovative leader who is going to move the organization into the future. Much more impressive, huh? Or if you're just being introduced to a new group of college friends, you want to be described as something like the friend who is the most fun to be with and fashionable person. Without that reputation, it would take a long time for people even to want to be around you, and your quirk look could be interpreted as something other than fashionable. And lastly, your brand needs to be aligned with your self image and real capabilities, which means it needs to be authentic, it needs to be real. In real life, you need to live, you need to deliver on your brand. So, we are going to see how you can do that next. Now, I'm going to share with you my time tested model to create and manage a personal brand. There are four pillars of personal branding. Number one is who you are, number two is who you want to be, number three is how people perceive you. And number four, how people describe you even when you're not present. So now let's look at each of those pillars and see how you make that happen. So the pillar number one is who you are or your authenticity. Your values, your passions, your strengths, and your unique personality. This is your foundation. You can have an idea about who you are by introspection, right? You can self analyze and you can find who you are. But if you need help articulating that, you can talk to someone really close to you, right? Your parents, your siblings, your spouse, your best friend. Finding who you are is a fundamental step for you to build and manage your personal brand. The second pillar is who you want to be, right? Your aspirations, your career goals, the impact you want to make, and the professional identity you're striving for. Before you start projecting a brand intentionally, find areas in which you like to invest to improve and become a better version of yourself. If the change is small, write it down, make it your personal brand today, and then deliver by living that brand. If you need to make big improvements, then work on that before you incorporate it to your personal brand. Building a personal brand is something that you can do by yourself through reflection and introspection, but you can also work with a mentor who can help you to find those areas of improvement that can make you a better person. The pillar number three is how people perceive you or your reputation in action, right? The immediate impressions you make through your communication, work ethic, and interactions. This is what people actually see. It is common for the perceptions about us not to completely match our self image. To find how people perceive you, ask people you trust, but not the same people from the previous step. You should ask someone who is a friend, a manager at work, a colleague at work, but not someone who knows you intimately well. If you find large perception gaps, you either need to adjust your self-image or you need to work for better communication. And the fourth pillar, which is really what is going to scale your personal brand and build a reputation, is how people talk about you when you're not present, or your legacy, your influence. This is the ultimate test. It is the last impression and the narrative others carry about you. Ultimately, this is what sets your reputation, and what people say will affect how much influence and credibility you have when you meet someone for the first time. So, the pillars of your personal brand, I like reviews of a restaurant. If you are not consistent, it doesn't work. If what you want to be is different from what people perceive of you, it doesn't work. If what people tell about you doesn't match what you believe you are, it doesn't work. So the goal of building a personal brand that works in real life is really, again, to align those four components so that who you are, who you want to be, how people perceive you, and how people describe you when you're not there, they all become the same. And once that's the same, it becomes a real powerful force for you to have the influence and the credibility and reputation that you want in your life. And now, to complete this overview, I want to give you an example on how you can propagate your personal brand so that it becomes a public reputation. This is an advanced topic, but I think it is important for you to know. In 2020, I was hired by Google to be a senior director of technology and lead a team that was a few hundred people and influence perhaps a few thousand people across the company. So when I talked to my hiring manager, she told me, Marcio, this is a challenging position because we just combined two large teams. So you are coming to take the leadership of those two teams, and it is important that you very quickly establish your leadership, right? Your trust, your reputation. So I did, right, during my first couple of weeks at work. I did a lot of things of what I just explained to you so that I could very quickly establish a reputation. And for that to happen, I could not afford to wait for 6 months so that people got to know me and respect me so that I can implement the changes I need to make. So I took several actions, but I'll take an example that's very specific, right? So my hiring manager told me that people in the organization, they might not believe that you actually care about the individuals. So I want to counter that, right, by creating a reputation, part of my personal brand, that I care about every single person in the organization. So when you are hired as a senior director at Google, right, the normal expectation is that as you arrive, you're gonna, you're gonna meet with your direct reports, the directors that report to me, and I would say, this is the new direction for the team. Now I want you to go execute, right? Meaning I would delegate all of that to my reports, and then I would spend most of my time caring about the upper layers of the organization. Spend a lot of time with the VPs and dealing with the politics and the organizational communication, right? That's what people expect a senior director to do. So I said, okay, I need to surprise them by doing what I did, which is for the next few weeks after I arrived, I talked to my VPs and I told them, hey, I really need to focus on my team, so I'm gonna ignore you for several weeks. And I spend most of the time during those first 2 3 weeks meeting with not the managers, not the directors, not the senior managers, but the people in the front line doing the work. And every time I talk to one of them, I would intentionally, right, show interest about what they're doing. And rather than tell them what I thought they should do, I was asking them, what do you think I should do, right, to fix this organization? And my hope was not only to impact the person I was talking to, my hope was that that person, as soon as we hung up the phone or the conference call, that person would turn around towards the team, right, and say, hey, the new director, this guy who just arrived, he is really interested in what we do. He is really interested in how we feel, right? He's not a normal senior director at Google. And what I was doing there is I was creating a story, right, which is this new director actually is interested about us. And I was surprising the individual in the hope that that individual was going to spread my personal brand, right? It was helping me to create the reputation I needed because I needed to earn the trust of the entire organization. And again, this is an advanced topic, right? Organizational leaders need to do that to create that viral message, right? That propagates without your intervention so that a large organization can learn about your reputation and give you trust and respect, right? Even before you have the time and the opportunity to interact with every single person. So that's how personal brands become reputations. And you can do that by creating stories, by planting stories, by surprising people, by creating contrast, right? So that people remember you and they feel so compelled about the impression they got that they actually tell other people. And this is how you affect what people say about you, even when you're not present. That becomes very effective, as you can imagine, in organizational leadership. It becomes important in anything. For example, I hope you like this video. I hope this video is interesting to you. And if you decide, right, to share this with your friends, I want you to say something like, hey, I like this video, and this is by a Google director who used to manage a bunch of people there, and you should watch this video, right? Because that's a lot more powerful sharing than if you just share the video. So when you have a strong brand and you tell stories like I just did to you, right? My hope is that that story is going to propagate. And that's the power of personal branding. That's the power of reputation. And I'm not saying I'm good at that, but if you're good at that, you get other people to propagate your reputation. And that's when personal brand reaches the highest level of effectiveness. That's when it gives you the superpower to lead, to influence, and to make you better as part of a community, right? And in social media, that's I think everyone in your generation understands how that works in social media. And what I'm telling you is that this, if you follow and you work on those four pillars, right? Your reputation is not only going to work in social media, but it's going to work in real life, where when you meet a new group, your reputation will be established and the group will receive you with more trust, more respect, and more willing, right, to accept your leadership, your influence, your decision making. So I hope you can cultivate that. I'm gonna recommend a video that explains how I went from being a Google Senior Director a year ago to become a YouTuber today. And I think that's gonna be a fun story for you to watch. So see you in the next episode of Careers Cast.